All right, man. Holy
Got him.
fuck. Took us a while to get it going.
Mm, it wasn't me this time.
Yeah,
Psych.
this one was all me, but I think that was the final screw in the box to actually keep a decent pod going.
All right, all right. We're set now. So set it and forget it.
So I think you're using your the microphone in your AirPods. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Is that cool?
Yeah, I got you on a separate track, so if it's a little low, I can pop it up a little bit. We're good to
Cool.
go. I
If you
do
need
kind of.
anything changed,
Was
if
that?
you need anything changed on my end, just let me know.
Okay.
I can put a mic in quick enough as long as that doesn't completely ruin everything.
No, no, I think it'll be all right. Unless you wanted your voice clearer, that's up to you.
I'm good with it. I mean, I think the AirPods are probably good enough.
Yeah, right. Awesome. Well, we do these powwows pretty frequently, and
Hmm.
we've never recorded a podcast before.
We
Well, we
tried one.
yeah, and that one was completely scrap. My fault. I fucked it all
It
up.
was glitchy on the
So terrible.
video or something. That was the first time you tried video.
Yeah, that's what it was. And
Yeah,
now I got the video part figured out, and now I got the separate audio figured out as well.
all grossed up.
Yeah, and speaking of audio, well, we got a lot to get into here. I guess that we should probably just start off with a little bit of BMX for the listeners.
That's sure peoples.
So when all right, I'm already stuttering and being all shitty. When we were kids, when we first met, I think you messaged me on AIM or something like that about a Schwinn bike,
Oh wow.
and it was about like the dropouts in the Schwinn, running pegs. You got this bike, and you were like not sure if you could use it for grinding or something, and you
Oh
went.
shoot.
It was a red Schwinn, and I remember seeing you at It had the dropouts that stuck out to like protect the peg. It was crazy. I remember
Oh yeah. Yeah, okay.
that thing was sick.
Yeah, wow. That was Oh no, it was a black GT.
It was black. Oh,
Yeah.
damn.
Yeah, it got Lebanon though. Someone took it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that probably took all the wind out of my BMX sails. It's
Dang,
like,
really? Just
F
that?
this, man.
Hmm.
I mean, it was just like that kind of thing in middle school where you're trying to like find yourself and like just trying everything out. You know, it went from BMX to skateboarding to music, like based on whoever I was like hanging out with at the time.
Yeah.
It's kind of always just got thrown into the forefront at like early high school, I guess. Like, because my dad plays drums, so like it's always been there, and it's always been kind of semi
Hmm.
natural to me. So it was always just in the back, but like I feel like all my friends were like skating or bike riding or whatever, weren't
Right.
necessarily musically inclined.
Okay, so it was a little bit before you kind of found those musical friends.
Right.
Right. Wow.
Yeah, because I was always playing guitar and stuff. I actually started there, and I think I was like, oh no, so like both 8 and 13 both stick out to me. So pick one of those. So
Damn.
yeah, yeah, it's always kind of been there, but just exploring, I guess, around those years.
Yeah, big time. I was tinkering around in my own little history of thinking of like what friends I had before I was into BMX, and I don't remember
I
really any.
Yeah, when did you get into it actually?
99 with Eddie.
Okay.
I think we met. It was almost like we started BMX together, but I feel like it was like a weird situation where I don't think one of us influenced the other.
Just kind of.
Maybe we both did it at the same time. It was a weird thing. I knew I wanted to ride, and I like stole money from my family, and I bought a bike from a pawn shop, and That bike got
Right.
stolen 24 hours later. It was,
Of
but I don't
course.
remember Eddie being around for that whole moment. Oh yeah, there
Isn't
was
that
this kid across the street. I saw him
okay?
manualing one day just on one wheel, and I was like, "What the fuck sorcery is
Whoa.
that?" Yep, Mike Venata.
Yeah.
Mike
Okay.
Venata's a Lebanon
I don't know that name.
local. R.I.P. He's gone now.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. I saw him riding, and he got me a couple videos, and that kind of it was. The brakes were off at that point. Just seeing the debauchery
Right.
and gnarly shit that bike riders do, and it went on from there.
Yeah. That's kind of skateboarding got me on that one because that Baker 2G video came out and that was
Mm.
just nuts. Like they were just doing awful, awful things, getting trashed and stuff. Like definitely stuff maybe a teenager shouldn't be watching, but I don't know. It was one of those identities I kind of navigated.
Right, and skateboarding was entering its heyday at that point too,
Yeah.
and
Oh yeah, it's like the perfect time to get into it because like Tony Hawk Pro Skater came out and all
mhm,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I remember I was in bike riding for like a year or two, or maybe not too long because it was still high school, or yeah, high school, and I met
Hmm.
Houts in gym class,
Oh
and I
yeah.
had a cast on, and Houts let me borrow some skate videos to watch, and that's how I got. That was like my first real introduction
Cool.
is through him,
Yeah.
and he let me borrow that video. It was like Mosaic for like 6 months.
Oh,
Yeah,
Habitat video.
just nicely
Uh,
well done stuff.
yeah, that's funny. The house got you on that because like you were saying with Eddie, I think me and him kind of like came to the skateboarding conclusion around the same time.
You and Houts?
Yeah,
Oh, cool.
yeah, and like JT and them is it just like kind of swept us one summer, and that's like all we did. Fueled on chocolate milk and like off-brand Mountain Dews and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
There's that place Beanies in Lebanon you used to be able to get like 25-cent snacks from.
Oh my God, the big Berthas
Big
and
Bertha's. Oh, shout out to Big
oh,
Bertha's.
yeah, dude.
Another Lebanon legend. You went from the skate. So when did the music community? It was like after that summer. You kind of started to branch out.
Yeah, I think skateboarding had us for probably a year, well, me at least for
Mm-hmm.
a year or two. I kind of like drifted away. Um, I'm trying to think when that was, like, because it would have been when I started hanging with like Tim and Wilson and them, and I guess I would have been in like 10th grade probably.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, just music was always there, but as far as like drums and that, probably 10th grade, I think they started
Yeah.
putting on shows at the Knights of Columbus, like little punk shows. Oh, I remember my first local show, and that's what did it. That's what got
Ah,
me. Like,
sick.
yeah, dude. It was a show at the VA.
What?
Yeah, there was just like some random gymnasium. My cousin Jordan took me to, and I remember it was shortwave radio. I still have the disc somewhere. They had a three-song demo. They're from New Jersey, and Hate Potion was like kind of a big deal Lebanon like underground punk band. That
Mm.
was like, and you just saw like the passion and how much fun everyone was having. It was just like, damn, that's sick. I want to like be involved in that. And then the Knights of Columbus shows start like were real pivotal and like shaping who I kind of like turned into, and honestly probably close to what I where I ended up as far as taste and stuff.
And for all these shows, you were a patron. You weren't
Hmm.
performing at.
Yeah,
You were just
yeah,
going to enjoy.
probably a good solid year until I started playing with anyone.
Mm-hmm. And Knights of Columbus was right down the street from my house, and I
Heck
never went
yeah.
to a single show. I had no idea.
Ah, dude, it was crazy.
I was late to the music scene,
Right.
and that's kind of how we got reintroduced. I feel like we
Hmm.
talked a little bit, and then somebody brought me to a show. I knew that there were shows going on. Eddie and I were like getting into music together. We liked the heavy stuff, and
Yeah.
I don't know how somebody, AIM people were talking or something, and got
Mm.
started going to these other shows at what's the other split? Not the fireplace, the place in
Dove.
Fellowship thing.
Yeah, though on Ninth Street.
Yeah, yeah. That's where
Yeah.
Eddie and I our first shows were at, and we were like, this
Okay.
is so cool that there's metal in our town. There's hard rock in our town, and that there was a
Yeah.
scene. There was like a bunch of shit going
Yeah.
on.
Dude, I mean we had in Lebanon we had the luck of being kind of a stop on the road between like Philly and probably, out west Pittsburgh or something. But
Yeah, it's just
I
one of the
mean,
hits on the
what
way.
was what was going on in Lancaster in those times was like, I mean, I saw every freaking touring band I wanted to see for like, I mean, I was talking to Kyle about this yesterday. It was like $5, $8, $10 a show,
Yeah, yeah,
and these bands were booking them themselves, and it's like booked a couple shows, like it was just the DIY thing was super strong,
yeah.
man.
I remember going to like just you saying that made me think of all the shows I went to with Eddie because we started branching out and going to Lancaster, and
Mm.
I saw From a Second Story Window.
Oh man, I never saw them.
That was cool.
They were pretty wild, I guess.
Back when
What I
everybody was
remember.
wearing American Eagle jeans, even the dudes.
Oh yeah, yeah, man. That's it's like as I don't want to. You hate hearing that. Oh, I was there before, but and everything, but like all that Taking Back Sunday and Thursday and shit started to get real popular, and everyone started getting like preppy and like doing their best dress to go to the show, and it's just like, man, all right, this like emo shit's like over.
Yeah, yeah,
And then it started like I remember like bands like the October Flatline, like just spastic weird grindcore bands that like completely blew my mind.
hmm
Like not musicality in any way, shape, or form, but just like what kind of chaos could be developed in like 15 minutes.
Wasn't there a band that you guys played a show at the fireplace in Myerstown along with, where there was a group of dudes who were spastic as well?
Mm.
Was it? It wasn't Girls, was it? Called Girls. It was something.
Oh shoot. Um, like the Team Pink dudes. Shoot.
I just remember like as soon as they started, I was like, "Whoa!"
Yeah,
I
there
didn't
is
even
there
play a
is a
note.
lot of bands like that.
Yeah, I
They
guess
didn't
so.
make it out to Myerstown too much, but it's like as far as like, and there used to be like shows at uh, Anvil Firehouse and just all these random like the Neversink used to have shows,
Yeah,
and Bunker Hill was my favorite place.
Bunker Hill. Where was Bunker Hill?
North on 72. It was like kind of between Lebanon and Jonestown, I guess.
Oh wow.
I could never find the place again. I'm sure somebody could, but I have no idea.
I
They they were booking that room for $85. It's like it got trashed, which sucks. But I mean,
mm,
that's what kind of happened with all these places.
yeah, they probably all eventually wised up.
Yeah, yeah. Kids, man.
I remember seeing Bayside.
Yeah, I was at that show.
Yeah,
That was Bunker Hill.
that was Bunker Hill. That was the only time I
That
ever
was
went to that
Bunker
place.
Hill.
Yeah,
Yeah, dude, I have a vivid memory of that show. That's wild.
and then they blew up after that, right? Is that?
Yeah. Yeah, I think I didn't hear about him for a while, and then the first thing I heard about him was that their drummer had passed.
Oh,
And that kind of like brought it to the forefront again. But it was like, wow, that was just that band we saw in some random fellowship hall. And that's,
yeah.
I mean, that so many different bands. That's the story. It's like you just go and what I miss is like, so now you have metal shows, you have hip hop shows, you have emo shows, whatever, bands kind of like tour with their like now. And it's like,
hmm
man, it wasn't like theirs. You never knew what kind of random music you were gonna stumble into. It's like we played so many shows with pop punk bands, and it was so weird, but welcoming too.
Yeah, it was a little bit more of a variety pack, you know.
Hmm.
Like everybody's going to be playing instruments, but the genres are going to be each one's going to be a different shade for sure.
Right. It's like the only connective tissue was that we were all just kind of like doing something that a lot of people weren't really interested in.
Yeah. But it also brought people together because at those, I specifically remember the Myerstown shows where there was girls there, the people who liked the more emo bands were there, it like brought the group together. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't so
Yeah,
much
man.
like, oh, those are, it wasn't like a battle, it wasn't like a war. At
No,
least
not at all. That's what I mean. It's like the camaraderie of just like that was the connective tissue is we were
Mhm.
all just kind of weird and didn't really find our place anywhere else.
Yeah. And MySpace was barely a thing at the time, and
Bro, it has never been done better than MySpace music. That
yeah.
mp3.com and MySpace music is like, and that was the vehicle for all these bands being able to do their own thing.
Hmm.
Because like you could just post shows, you could post music, and it was like just a network that spread pretty dang quick.
And I imagine as long as you could stay up on your MySpace bulletins, you could basically travel the country.
Yeah, totally.
Now you gotta
And
do everything.
yeah, man. And well, now it's insurance and all that shit too. It's like it's a
Hmm.
business now, and we were just kids doing that shit, and
Yeah.
better or worse, I'm not really sure, but kind of. It's like it's probably like the skate park thing with you guys when you're kids. It's like kids need something to do. They need something to throw themselves into. It's like you don't want to give kids a park, then they're gonna go freaking grind curbs and shit.
Hmm.
And, you're gonna go if you can't play in some tiny little junk music hall, then like I don't know where that leaves us, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. Playing in your bedroom and recording it to stream, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, which is easy now, but back then it's like, what are
Yeah.
you gonna go to cassette? Which I did.
Wow. Damn.
But
So was Collapse the first band? Collapse of Autumn?
um, the first like band worth mentioning,
Okay.
really. There was At Full Speed and played a couple shows, but it was kind of whack. New
Hmm.
metal stuff.
And then, oh yeah, I do remember seeing that full speed stuff too. Is there any? Okay, I'm jumping ahead. I'm thinking of the video I recorded. I didn't record any Collapse videos. I only recorded the Red Matter stuff.
Right.
So how long was Collapse? A couple years.
Yeah, it was Collapse for me was 2004 to 2006.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they went for like another year after that.
Right, and
Uh,
I guess it's worth mentioning now that you were the drummer.
yeah,
And
indeed.
could we pull up any collabs, any songs, any pieces you're proud of, or?
Oh yeah, I love the recordings we did. Um, I think the MySpace might still be up, but like that's the only semblance remaining. I don't know if I can. I don't know if I'd be able to share audio because I think I have the stuff.
Collapse
I
of
know I
Autumn
can.
playing The Conquest live at the Fireplace, Myerstown, PA.
Yeah, that's. Yeah, I think Dave C took those videos.
Red
Shout
Sky.
out Dave C.
Hell yeah. So, so if
Oh, that's after I left. Actually, I think Jeff Bonus is playing on those.
September 1st, 2007.
Oh yeah, so I left like
Oh shit! I found the MySpace, but there's.
nice. I think the last I remembered the player didn't really function anymore. Here, I'll send this one because this is my favorite song we did and never freaking recorded.
And that's. And is that the one, uh, with the video?
Yeah. Yep.
Sick. So, so you played in Class of Autumn for a couple years, and then
hmm
changed gears a little bit. Did you? Was it when that band dissolved, Red Matter started?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, there's probably a year or two that was like, off time, but relationship and life building stuff that didn't like pan out,
Mm-hmm.
essentially. So there's that.
Okay, so there's two ways I can pull this up. But for the sake of you to be able to see it and hear it, I think I'm just gonna have to do it like this.
It's fine with me. I'm familiar. I play along to these songs sometimes. Keeps me going
So
in shape.
you can see Steiner in the back there. You see Wilson in the front in the guitar. Whoops. Trying to figure out which way's up and down.
Andy's up there.
Yep, Andy's singing. And what's
Oh,
the other guy's name? Jeff? Not Jeff.
Chris Croft.
Croft. Yeah.
Yep.
There on the bass. And I was
Yep.
visiting from Philly. Just happened to have my video camera, my bike riding shit, and came up for a
I
show.
think I
Yeah.
think we set up that you. I think we talked about it preemptively that like you brought it down and yeah,
Yeah. It was like a thing.
yeah. There's Jeff Bonus, that head
Yeah,
right
right
there.
right in front. Oh yeah, the dual guitars.
Oh yeah, necessary for metal.
The range on Andy.
Yeah, he definitely grew into one of my favorite vocalists.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of impressed that it's like not lagging out video wise.
Yeah. Young Steiner.
Oh yeah, it was 10 years ago ish.
Yeah. Wow.
I think it was 2012.
Ooh, Nelly.
That's why I like this song.
Yeah, you guys didn't fuck around and we fucking loved it.
No, that was a weird interaction.
Pantene Pro V was in front of the whole shot.
I was gonna say, as a photographer, that's messed up. She takes pictures and shit, and she's just right in front of the camera. Beautiful. It was always so funny because like that's the last song we played live, and the dude messed up the last part, and it's like always been so funny to me. It's like we went out on a whimper. Oh man,
Hell yeah, man. That was some
fun
good
shit,
shit.
man.
I had this chat up here this whole time. Fuck. Yeah.
A lot of fun.
Yeah, you guys kill
Yeah,
it. And then, how long was Red Matter around for?
not long. After that show there, we played with a band called We the Gathered from out west,
Oh,
uh,
yeah.
Pittsburgh area, and Andy ended up going and touring with them. So that we just kind of it was already kind of flaking off already,
Mm-hmm.
personalities and stuff clashing, but
Right.
yeah. So
Wow. And then it was around this time I feel like we were kind of hanging out more, going on drives and listening to music and going to shows.
hmm
A couple times you drove all the way down from Lebanon to Philly to visit me and kick it with me.
yeah, dude. I
Awesome.
still love. I mean, I still drive way too much. It's just, I don't know. It's just so soothing. Like we're going out to Colorado in a couple weeks, and we're just gonna drive, and uh, people look at it as like, oh, well, you're losing time in Colorado. It's like I don't know, the ride's worth something, you know.
Yeah, especially if you're like, you're not in dense city traffic. You're actually, you're seeing how the landscape turns into Colorado from Texas,
Yeah, it's wild, dude.
which,
Like
yeah,
Northwest Texas is just desolate. Like I've never seen actual uh what do they call them? Blowing across tumbleweeds. I've never seen actual tumbleweeds before. It's like there they are, man. This is really that desolate.
we should maybe explain how you go from being in Lebanon
Whew.
with
Yeah.
Red Matter to Texas. You.
Yeah. There's lots of ups and downs there.
Hmm.
So I was living in Anvil at the time with a couple buddies, and decided I was gonna go to school for audio engineering. So that took me to Mechanicsburg. It's like kind of west of Harrisburg. So I was living there with another buddy and going to school full time, working full time, sleeping 4 hours at a time, losing tremendous amounts of weight from just negligence. But so then finished up audio school and just kind of started doing little demos here and there, and then moved to Middletown, another kind of east of Harrisburg.
Hmm.
Met a girl, got married, moved back to Lebanon, and then she's a nurse. So it was around the pandemic, and everything was very in flux, and we decided to kind of use that to our advantage. And she became a travel nurse. Her first assignment was down here, and we stayed.
Yeah, yeah,
Found a good spot for our daughter, and I mean, there's kind of no better reason to stay somewhere.
hmm, right. Yeah, you guys had a daughter. You guys are taking care of her. You
Yeah,
found a good place for her. Yeah,
yeah, absolutely. We found a good support system down here too.
and now you're living in Texas, and you're gonna drive to Colorado. Gonna enjoy the
Hmm.
scenery of how that landscape changes, all
Oh
that
yeah,
shit, and
the scenery, and get there and enjoy the greenery.
mhm. And this past year you guys flew up for my wedding. That was really awesome. So
Yeah, dude. That was a whirlwind of a weekend.
yeah,
All that traveling, man, it takes you out. It takes it out of you. You just, weird headspace.
I bet. And I
Yeah,
can't thank you enough for making it all happen because I know it wasn't easy and you guys did it and everything happened without a hitch.
yeah. There's no one else. I don't think that we would have done that trip for.
No, I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, of course.
We got to come down and visit.
Heck yeah.
That'd be sweet.
Show you all the barbecue and all that stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
So
It's a good time.
we talk a lot, even though this is your first time on the official time on the podcast. We talk so much, and when I was initially just thinking of starting this podcast, I knew I would want you on eventually, but you also helped me
Cool.
out with this little jingle I was trying to figure out.
Oh yeah.
And so if any of my listeners are listening from have been listening from the beginning, you might have heard it, where it's, but you might not know what song it actually is, because you did a
It's a
great
little.
job. So basically, I was just
It's a little
thinking,
abstract.
yes, and sometimes I can be too abstract with my ideas and think that people are gonna get it, and they
Right.
don't, and I'm like, well, why don't they get it?
Hmm.
And so
But I
basically,
think sometimes like what you intend it to be isn't what it ends up being. You know what I mean? Sometimes you need that interpretation to like kind of bring the truth out of it, so to speak.
hmm
And that's the interesting thing about art, I guess.
yeah, the end result.
Yeah.
And the way it was is I just smacked my bike with some spokes and I sent Steiner the audio files and he turned it into a song, and I got my new and improved soundboard here. I could play the soundboard on the computer, but then you won't be able to hear it, I'm pretty sure.
It's
Here,
fine.
let me see if you hear this wah wah wah. You didn't hear? Okay, cool. That it didn't
Uh-huh.
even get recorded, so that's perfect. All right, so I got it over here. So it was supposed to sound like Curb Your Enthusiasm, which I do think it does if you are listening for it.
Yeah, now that you know.
Yeah.
Now I hear it.
And then you added like a breakdown into it, right?
I don't remember that.
At the end here.
Oh yeah, that's when it kind of goes. Yeah, it changes a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I loved it. I still have it. I put it on the soundboard so I can still use it. But ended up just going with a quicker, short little sound bite for most of the pods. So I still hold into it because I like it a
Nice.
lot, and I appreciate that you made that for me.
Awesome. Glad you like it, man.
Yeah. So yeah. Now that we're up to speed, we have introduced Steiner. We know where Steiner came from. Now we can just bullshit, right?
Dive in, yeah. Yeah, to bring the powwow energy.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
Yeah.
I had to rent a fucking 100-foot electric snake this week to
Oh.
unclog our main drain.
Oh no.
That's what I got into today, or this week.
Wild.
Yeah, it's
On that tip, we so down in Texas, they are not used to the cold. All this infrastructure was not built for the cold.
hmm
So like when it gets below freezing, you gotta leave your water running or
no way.
everything freezes.
Wow. Because
Yeah.
I guess it's cheaper to just let the water run.
Well, it if the water's moving, it doesn't have a chance to freeze.
hmm
Is the idea. But I didn't know that you got to leave the cold water running. So in the sink, I just kind of had it like halfway, so it was half hot, half cold. Well, the cold line froze. So
The
we
chlorine
had like,
coming into the house.
yeah, into the kitchen sink.
Wow.
Yeah. So it ended up being a pretty simple fix. We just grabbed a space heater and like ran it so it was blowing underneath the sink, and it eventually opened up. But
So you caught it before it busted. It actually busted anything.
oh yeah, no, nothing bad happened,
Oh,
but
that's awesome.
scary stuff.
Yeah. Oh my God. So with um when you're when you have garden hoses, you have a pipe in your basement that leads to where it goes out to the garden, and you should have
Hmm.
a control there to turn it off.
Right.
So when it's wintertime, you turn that off, and then you go up to your hose and you open that. You actually open it for some reason,
Hmm.
because that way there's no way that pressure can build.
Right.
And that's kind of how you winterize your garden hoses. Well, my dad,
Mm.
his basement is all like finished and got carpet down there,
Oh no.
and they don't have any controls for the pipes to exit. Like for the garden hose, there's no actual turn off
Uh,
there.
Oh man.
So it busted, it leaked all over, mad shit, and it's all
Oh,
finished. So he's gonna have to get drywall like removed, everything, the whole nine.
oh, was this recently?
Yeah, this same week, same
Oh,
day,
dang.
when we had to get really warm up here, and then so we had a whole bunch of snow. It got really warm, like 50s, and we had a shit ton of melt. And then within 24 hours, it was
Mm.
like 6 degrees out or 16 degrees out
Right.
and shit. So like
Oh.
we think we think our problem was that like downstream in the gutter, it actually froze, and
Mm.
our house couldn't even go into the drain because of that.
It just
That's
backed
what
up
we
from there, you
think.
thought.
Because when we walked
Mm.
out to like the gutter, we could see that like the street gutter was frozen. Like
Okay.
it's gnarly, but
Dang. That's scary when you get into pipes though, and that when it's like under the ground and everything, it's like God, it could
yeah,
have been such a nightmare.
yeah. Her we had to have her uncle come up. He brought a 25-foot snake of his own personal thing, and we ran that first. 25 foot.
Yeah, it
Like
wasn't long enough.
we put it in right where the pipe left the house. So 25 feet out of the house, we still weren't getting what we needed to get. And then so we
Dang.
rented this 100-foot one, and we suppose like it has like special bits on it so you can like chew up crazy stuff. But you
Mm.
have to like if you try and go too hard too quick, you can kink the hose. It's like a it's like a metal coil, kind of like at the
Okay.
old phone cords.
Right.
And if you fuck it up, then you have to pay for the whole thing. Like
Ugh,
it's mad. Those things, I guess they're expensive, but
I'm
it's $100
sure.
to rent. So it's like I'd rather do that than buy one, obviously. But
Yeah.
ended up
Unless it's
pulling.
something you're going to be doing every day or something.
Yeah, and it's so disgusting. And luckily, we
I,
don't. Word to the wise: do not flush wet wipes.
oh no, I know.
But
No,
so we didn't end up having anything disgusting come back out, but we did have
that's
tree
good.
roots come out,
Oh, wow.
which apparently, if your pipes, the condensation can be on your pipes from the that rapid warmth and then freeze again. So the
Right.
trees can go to the pipes and kind of wrap around them and kind of like
Hmm.
integrate roots into the system.
Right. I've seen stuff like that before, just like infographics or whatever, but that's that's wild.
Yeah, and we have two trees in our front yard. So we're thinking that we're gonna have to dig up the whole front yard and
Oh,
replace the pipe eventually. So
uh, fun.
yeah, I mean,
Hmm.
if all I have to do is rent a snake once a year, I might do that for a couple years until I have this shit out.
Yeah, as long as you can.
I mean, it's pretty foul. I mean, it's like black water. It's dripping all over the
Yeah.
basement. Yeah, yeah. Anyway,
Adult stuff.
yeah,
I
gets a little shitty before it can get better.
hear you, man. It's I don't know. I've been thinking a lot lately about like kind of the animal side of us, and
Mm-hmm.
like I don't know if it's really something I like have thought enough about to even really talk about or express like what I find interesting about it, but just I guess I think it's interesting like the things that we kind of pursue that's like based on animal nature and like what effect that has on the other side of us, like that kind of quote unquote godly side. Like if you think of us as part gods, part animals,
Mm.
it's like I just think a lot about the kind of emotional stuff and how that's like the reactionary stuff and how to kind of get past that reactionary way of like thinking.
Mm. Like more stoic,
Because
sort of.
yeah, just reacting out of planned thought. I mean, obviously you always can't plan for everything, but how much better response you have when you're have time to sit on something.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like increasing your random access memory,
Right,
but it's like
leveling up.
random access patience and tolerance for what's happening at the moment.
Right, yeah, and just I think it's we're kind of I don't it seems like with technology and stuff it just seems like we're kind of devolving at times
Mm-hmm.
and we're kind of farming out our godly processes to external things, and it's kind of a weird thought.
It's one of those like it's got to swing one way to kind of swing back. I was going through my photos because I
Hope
wanted, huh?
I hope.
Yeah, same here. I hope as well. I'm not saying
uh,
I know for sure it's going this way. I'm just gonna say what I saw. I was looking up my for an old photo from like when I wall rode a car with my bike. It must have been like
mm,
2015 or so. And I was scrolling through all these photos I had backed up, and I was like seeing memes and stuff. I'm like, man, memes used to be like more general and more of like, isn't this shared experience shitty or funny or stupid? More of like you're kind of like looking at a group of friends like, isn't this crazy? Because we all know it. I mean,
hmm
I'm over speaking it now, but it's like,
shared experience stuff.
yeah, it's not pinpointed to one person's action as much as it was as it. I feel like it went from more general to more pinpointed, and maybe we can swing back to more general because people are gonna get sick of it. Like people are sick of
mm.
being pinpointed for everything. You know.
But I don't, man, I don't know how much people see that though. I think that's kind of tying in like there's no common reality anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Right.
people used to
Yeah.
have their TV shows we kind of all like uh could kind of argue over or talk about or whatever, and now it's there's aside from like the kind of cultural waves that like wash over us all, we don't have a whole lot of common ground anymore. We're
Mm-hmm.
looking at different news, we're looking at different content, and our feeds are specialized for us, and it's just I think it builds this like kind of aloneness.
Right. And I think it's got to be a new dynamic pushed from within. Like the computers aren't going to figure out how to let us operate correctly. We have to figure that out,
Mm,
right?
right.
Because the computer's just
It's-
going to keep saying click here. What we have to do is make it a point to have a community to reach out, you know,
mhm,
which,
right.
you know, it's easier said than done for sure. But I feel like it's going to become more of a thing where we actively seek out, you know, an experience instead of just clicking on stuff. Like I think
Yeah,
everyone's going to be clicking no matter what. But I think
right.
what can change is like just like this. Like it's becoming more and more common to have like a quote unquote face-to-face conversation through the computer. I know it's not real as it could be,
Right.
but it's also a chance
It's
to connect more than not. Like
right.
if I could
You're
do this with all my
definitely.
family members or something, you know.
Hmm. There's definitely a like kind of electrical connection that's missed, like kind of the feeling of warmth or like
Mm-hmm.
radiating with someone like on a talk like this in person. It's like definitely a different thing.
Yeah.
But I think if you kind of put your brain on do not disturb mode where you can like kind of focus on the one thing, it's like that's helpful, I guess. A
Mm-hmm.
little closer to what we want it to be.
Yeah. I guess the real word for it is like focus, like a zeroed in focus, and then also a desire for shared experiences. So you got to
Yeah,
focus to not let all that clicky click stuff fuck with you, and then you
right.
also have to make it a point to be social, but not in the typical internet sense of it, but like a togetherness experience.
Yeah, it's uh, block out the noise to, you know, get that electrical connection.
Mm-hmm. And I
You know,
see it with like weird shit that I have to pay attention to for work, for like grocery stores, and like everybody was saying retail was dead when the pandemic first started, and then now that everybody's getting their bearings back slowly, like the actual experience. So going to Amazon is great when I need a stapler, but
hmm.
when I want to try on a pair of sweatpants or something crazy, something that I really want to know, I want to go
Right.
somewhere, and
Hmm.
people are over the typical Walmart box store type thing, and
Hmm.
some people, not everybody's doing this yet, but like are creating in-store experiences where like it's way cooler to actually be there. Kind of like the Apple Store
Right.
or something, but like,
Hmm.
you know, people are
That
making
would
it
be
a
the smart way to go.
yeah, make it a point that
Make it
your
happening.
retail is actually engaging for people to be there.
I've noticed like McDonald's has been doing that to an annoying extent because you
Oh.
see it for what it is. Like I just see it on my feed and stuff. You see promotions of like the adult Happy Meal thing, like
Mm.
that. They're doing like all these different types of things that are like kind of gross when it comes from a corporation. But say it was like, for lack of a better example, like that Coney 2012 thing. To like, it really is interesting how you can focus that much attention, even if it is for bullshit, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But it's cool, like kind of the power to move people like that.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a chicken
Fortunately,
spot that opened up around here called Dave's Hot Chicken.
oh, we got one of those too.
Yeah. Have you tried it?
Yeah,
Pretty good.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's a good experience.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's right on my way to one of the dogs I
Oh
go and
man.
hang with.
Is it always a line where you are?
I don't think so. Not really.
Mm. Ours just opened
Um,
up, so
mm,
it's kind of new, I guess.
yeah, I mean, there's so many different, like, there's literally another hot chicken place right across the street from Dave's Hot Chicken. So it's like,
You got
as far
options.
as, um, sorry, text message. Speaking of do not disturb, um, the it is just like food heaven or food hell, depending how you look at it down here. It's just like, I think Texas is just like the epitome of consumerism.
Mm.
It's just like you have all your options here, and it's so bloated
Mm.
and overrun, like the traffic and all that, and just going anywhere can be a absolute nightmare.
Is it very dense? Is there a lot of people?
Yeah,
Oh.
especially in this area, the Dallas Fort Worth area is like, I'm a little more inclined to like that North Texas desolate idea, but this is where we're at right now, and
Mm.
it's very hectic.
Right. Yeah,
But
that's kind of how Albany is. It's a little bit of a
uh, uh,
It's like a little bit of an armpit in a way, where it's like everything's convenient but annoying to get to.
Yeah, overly convenient.
Yeah.
It's like you want a little bit of work, not traffic.
Yeah, yeah. The days right around Christmas, even yesterday, it was still crazy. We
Mm.
live right off of like the one main road.
That
Insane.
was the funny thing is like Christmas Eve was pretty freaking nice actually driving. There
Mm,
weren't people out at all, which was pretty sweet.
wow,
Yeah.
that's
I
always
think
good.
everyone has the idea of the Texas cowboy, but it's like, I don't know, it's like kind of that faux Texas thing of like pop country and like NASCAR. It's like, you guys, like, George Bush was marketed as a cowboy, but come on, he's a rich kid. He's a rich kid in the cowboy hat, and it's like that kind of thing. And I don't dig that so much, but
Hmm.
when you meet like some of those old school Texas dudes, it's awesome because they're sweet as hell.
Right.
They're just like they got that down home vibe to them, and that's cool. I dig
Yeah.
that.
Nice.
Tangent.
Where do we go from here? What's next?
I don't know, man.
Oh wait, we
We
should talk
talk.
about Plays One on TV a little bit.
Okay.
Right? You started
Yeah.
a solo project. Was that
Yeah. I
during
guess
your?
that was 2012. I started it. I I remember like the first song I wrote was right before we went to a party at Nikki Cowden's in Middletown. Nikki Cowden and Jeff Bonus's place.
Yeah.
They had that fun like summer party.
It was like mad food, right? So much food.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Man, it was a
That
great
was the
time.
day I started it. Just like kind of playing around with my keyboard and because I was in an apartment at the time, so drums weren't really an option.
Hmm.
So just messing around with guitar and stuff and was really into like mushrooms and philosophy at the time. So it was just like a way to kind of zone out. And I've always just kind of found it a way to think about bigger ideas.
Mm, yeah. It's a way to like wrap your head around it and do something with it instead of
Right.
just letting it stew around.
Yeah, it's just, I was writing a lot on my phone, just like kind of free writing. And I needed kind of something to speak to that, I guess.
And you've done a couple
Something.
albums now, right?
Yeah. Yeah. A couple that have been scrapped, a couple that have been done, a couple that aren't done. Yeah. It's been kind of put on the back burner just with life. And I did some recording not that long ago and it's just not really happy with it for whatever reason.
Hmm.
Figure it'll come back around, but
Yeah. Do you have your
yeah.
drum set up there behind you?
Yeah, right over here to my right.
Oh shit! Bang bang.
Yeah. Yes, sir. This
Nice.
has been the best part of being in this house is the backyard and having drums again.
Yeah, because you said you went through a period where you couldn't play for a couple years, or because they were still in
Yeah,
PA, right?
yeah, yeah. They were, oh, and they cost so much to get down here. It's so upsetting. But they're
I get
here,
that.
and I'm grateful for that.
Right.
Yeah, there were a couple times when I, didn't get have my drums and just kind of don't create for a while, and then just start picking up the guitar, and then stuff just kind of falls out.
Like
I
new
think
music
it's
falls out with the
yeah.
guitar.
I think it's funny because like it seems like when I don't have my drums, I'm so like I create a lot more. It's like kind of just get lost in the fun of playing drums, which is good too.
Right, right. If you didn't have that outlet, it gets kind of twisted and not twisted, but diverted into another direction.
Right. Yeah. More creative direction, honestly.
Hmm.
But I think something with recording drums, like if you're like, I found with doing my own stuff, it's like it gets kind of chaotic with it because you're writing, you're recording, you're arranging all this stuff all at the same time, and it's like without a defined path, it can get nutty, and you end up getting lost on an idea for
Wow.
a while. Yeah,
Right.
but I mean, this project's been me. The only other person that's really been involved have been just like bouncing ideas and stuff, or a different engineer worked on some of the drums I had recorded, but like I said, I'm not entirely happy with them. So
Hmm. That's how you know that there's still more work to do, right?
yeah, and that's I really love the demos for the songs that aren't released yet, but I haven't recorded anything that I've loved more than those demos.
Mm.
But it's funny because there's so many mistakes in those demos, but you don't hear them unless I don't hear them unless I solo everything out.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's weird. It's really weird. Whether that's just a focus thing or,
Right.
but yeah, it's I don't know. It's a long time early on, like before the collapse of Autumn. I had always been like musically going and playing and stuff, but just finding people to play with wasn't working out for whatever reason. And it's kind of like the same spot I'm in now,
Hmm.
but uh, technology has progressed to where I can do something about it, which is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
What are you thinking of doing? Like just looking for more people to play with?
uh
Or you thinking
yeah,
of doing
that
something about it? Just
just maybe even just finishing the recordings,
hmm.
or yeah, playing with people would be cool. It's like I definitely miss that a lot. You know, I think about it, but it's kind of I miss that MySpace music
Yeah.
forum because I knew how to navigate that. It's a little kind of weird navigating like what bands are. I guess I don't really know like a classified section for musicians in a new place. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And the only thing I can think of initially is Facebook and
Yeah, I don't even know what that looks like anymore.
yeah. I bet most of the time spent would be just trying to figure out how to work everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been off it for, I feel like I'm starting to look at it like cigarettes. I've been off cigarettes for 7 years, and that's Facebook for maybe four. It's
Right.
been a while. Yeah.
I think I still have mine. But yeah,
Mm,
I should delete it, but it's still hanging out there.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, there's positives to it, of course. Like, uh, just like I said about the MySpace music thing, I think for business, it's probably, gives you a community to find that stuff. And I'm doing dog walking now and stuff.
yeah.
And I think that's a way I could definitely expand, like do a business page and all that. It's something to show. I mean, we talked about that before of like beefing up the LinkedIn,
Hmm.
like content.
Yeah. And then
So,
I'm sure you're eventually going to run into a musician with a dog.
right, that's kind of what I've been thinking. Like, hopefully, I meet some cool people, even just like friends down here, because it's we're still relatively new.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah. How long have you been at
Jess has a.
this now?
I've been at this place since April. We've been down here since a little over a year.
Wow.
Came down last October.
Damn.
It's crazy to think what that I was at the turnpike like less than 2 years ago on a completely different path.
Yeah. shit.
Never really saw this for myself, but I'm glad I took the jump. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the first times I feel that I didn't take the safe route.
Right. Wow.
It's pretty cool feeling.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Scary and messy at times, but ultimately glad we did it.
Speaking of scary, what was the largest crowd you ever performed in front of?
Probably at the Chameleon Club.
Was that like
We played with,
200?
yeah, probably two, 300 maybe. We played with like Throwdown and Remembering Never. That
Yeah.
was a sweet day. It was
Damn.
surreal.
I wish I could have been at that show.
Yeah. But I don't know. I gotta think like there had to have been a fireplace show because that place could hold a lot of people.
The fireplace.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
That gym was huge.
Yeah.
I don't think it was ever like full, so to speak, but
No. Yeah. Plenty of room for activities.
right. Activities were had.
Yeah. Hell yeah, man.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything else we didn't
That's
cover you want to chat about?
yeah, that's pretty much me, man. Dogs and music and hanging with my kid.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And now that we got you introduced, we can have you back on and keep it going.
Get into the nitty gritty of it.
Yeah. Some sweet stuff.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
Awesome.
Talk about the internet more and philosophy and stuff is like mostly I think that's what we kind of get down on, just different philosophies and stuff like that.
Yeah. Different podcasts we heard with different thoughts and ideas,
Yeah.
concepts. Like that Trauma Zone documentary. We could mention that real
I gotta
quick.
get back into that. You know what you need to do before I come back on is watch Avatar.
Yes, yes, I do need to write. I do need to check that out.
Dude, it's so good.
Did you see the new one yet?
No. No, I don't know what time they're playing. I might see if there's shoot, it's only noon. I might try to go to see a movie.
Nice.
Yeah, maybe that would be what I do.
Hell yeah.
Cool, man.
Well, thanks for being on. I really appreciate it. Let anybody know
Absolutely.
where they can find your the plays one on TV. Is it Bandcamp?
Yeah, playsoneontv.bandcamp.com.
Cool.
If you live in the Dallas Fort Worth, Texas area and have a dog, hit me up.
Hell
I'd
yeah,
love to
man.
meet him.
Thanks again,
All
and
right, buddy.
I'll talk to you again soon.
Yeah, dude. Later.